everybody. I'm Greg Hodson, bringing you another 247 Victory News update from beautiful San Diego, sunny San Diego. And let me tell you, the Morris Cerullo Legacy International Center is well under construction. Let me tell you, there is so much going on here. Almost all of the buildings are down, and they're starting to break up all the cement. In fact, these 18 acres are quite impressive, as you can see from the air as we fly over. But let me bring in our executive director, Jim Penner, to tell us what's going on exactly today and when this center may open. Mr. Jim, why don't you come on over? Jim has been at this working day and night for I don't know how long, but he has the up-to-date understanding of what's going on here. For me, it's just all dirt, but for him, he sees a lot more. Jimmy, why don't you tell us what's going on? It looks like there's just one more building that's being torn down. We've got our aerial shot, so as you talk, we can go ahead and take a look around. So why don't you direct the cameras up in the air and tell our partners and our friends what's going on right now here at the Legacy property.
Well, as you can see, right over here is the last building that's left on the campus, and this will be gone within, by tomorrow's Friday, it'll be gone by Monday, certainly it'll be out of here. And then the rest of it is just sorting through all the debris piles of concrete, separating concrete from rebar so they can recycle materials. It all gets ground up and reused for roads. The steel gets recycled. And then next week, they'll start tearing up any asphalt parking lot that's left. They'll grind that all up. That gets recycled and reused. The steel comes in tomorrow to start putting the retaining walls against the hillside around the hotel over here and up against that far hillside over there next to the Holiday Inn. Those retaining walls start going in next week. We're waiting, anticipating our grading permit here in another week or two. Once we have the grading permit, then they can literally, all this debris will be gone and they can start re-leveling the site, to get it ready for foundations to go in. And then probably about a month after that, they'll start drilling foundation caissons 30, 40 feet deep into the ground in order to get down to bedrock.
Now, what's interesting, in parallel action, the ministry isn't sitting around just watching construction going on. They are preparing the way for when this opens, and that's when it all begins again with the ministry, which is the legacy launch for the next 100 of years until Jesus comes back. Now, Morris Cerullo is getting on a plane within hours, flying to the islands of the sea. Then he's flying to India and Africa and the Ukraine, Russia, Canada. He's on the road. I understand Morris Cerullo gets updates almost every day on what's going on. He is so involved in this process. Is that not true?
I spent literally an entire day with him on Tuesday this week, just a couple of days ago, going through every aspect of Legacy, every piece of interior, every carpet, every tile. He looked at every single piece of material. So just to make sure that it's exactly what we need for the visitors that will come, the partners that will come, those we are trying to reach that are going to come to the center, that everything is tip-top. And then on top of that, we're spending a lot of time working on the operations side of things, because pretty soon these buildings are going to be full of people.
Right.
And so we're going to have, guides and teachers and, all types of activities on the center for the individuals that come that they can be blessed. Some people that don't know Christ today are going to come to Christ. Some who want to become ministers and evangelists around the world are going to come for training. Some visitors and tourists are going to come to the restaurant just to have a nice bite to eat because they saw this pretty center sitting here.
Right.
But they're going to have an experience with the Lord when they come. They're not prepared for what's going to hit them when they walk in the door. It's going to be wonderful.
It's interesting. From all the drawings I've seen and the schematics of the property, we are on the western side of the property.
Yes, behind us is to the west.
If I'm not at the doorstep of the School of Ministry or the 500-seat theater, I'm pretty darn close. I may be at the edge of the plaza. So if I show, let's go ahead and put up the illustration of the area of the plaza, and then I'm going to put a little X where we believe we're standing. Where do you think we're standing right now?
We're actually standing in the training center.
If we're in the training center.
We're in the training, probably right on the very edge. The wall is probably about right here.
Okay. So I'm outside and you're inside.
We're very, very close. Either we're standing right outside of it or right next to us is the actual training center. That'll seat 700 people. We can have 600 for dinner at round tables in that center. So that's exactly where we're standing.
And let's not be remiss in saying this is San Diego. I got to tell you, it's mid-February, early to mid-February, and he has sunglasses on. He doesn't have a jacket on. It's probably the most beautiful weather, and it's in San Diego. Your Legacy Center is covered by beautiful sun and probably the most beautiful place on earth in San Diego. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful place to build this Legacy Center.
No, when you think about it,
I mean, it's a tourist destination too, right?
There's 8 million tourists a year. Just tourists come to San Diego. SeaWorld, the zoo, the aircraft carrier downtown, the San Diego, the beautiful weather, the beaches. So there's a lot of tourism in San Diego. And the benefit to that is we have 200,000 square feet of buildings. But you could double or triple that because all the outdoor space is usable. The patios, the gardens, the grounds, all of that is usable as essentially outdoor rooms. You can meet outside on the plazas. You can meet in the outdoor, grand steps amphitheater area. You can enjoy the fountains. You can wander through the gardens. So essentially, they are exhibits that you would not have if you were in a very, very cold climate. So it's the entire 18 acres can be utilized for ministry.
And lastly, we got to wrap it up, but I don't even know where our aerial shot is, where the drone is. But if they could take a look at this, this hillside is part of the Legacy Center. From what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, this will be developed and this will be walking areas. This will be there'll be walking paths up and around this area. Is that accurate?
There's one walking path, the overlook, then you can see it. It looks like just above that excavation machine, just a little bit. You kind of see that flat shelf.
I do see that shelf.
That flat shelf is actually our walking path. So that's the overlook. You can walk up there. It's a prayer walk. You can walk up there. There'll be, small little signage along the way, scriptural inspiration. You can look over the entire valley. So it's a beautiful overlook for the entire Mission Valley.
Well, I'm telling you, I cannot wait. And I guess it's about 6 to 8 months, maybe late summer, you tell me, when we'll actually see walls coming up. Is that accurate?
Yep. Around July, August time frame, there'll be buildings coming out of the ground.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim,
before School of Ministry, for the School of Ministry updates, we will actually be seeing buildings coming out of the ground.
Well, I'll tell you, it's exciting to be here. And if you're in San Diego, just call the office. Maybe there's a way we can have you come over and take a look at it. But until then, you'll be looking at these updates for the progress reports. It's an exciting project. It's probably the most intense, ambitious ministry project of the last 100 years. I mean, let's give a shout out to Oral. He built a college, and Bob Schuler built that beautiful Crystal Cathedral. So there's been some nice projects over the last 100 years, but I don't think anything really raises to the level of this Legacy International Center. I mean, really a shout out to Dr. Morris Cerullo for his vision and what he's doing here, and the ability for, even when he's passed, for this legacy to go on and on and on and keep raising up nationals and building God a victorious army until Jesus comes in all his glory and takes us all away, which we're hoping for, right?
Absolutely. Okay. We're trying to fill up heaven.
That's right, we are. Okay, thank you. Well, tune in next time for another update on Morris Cerullo's travels and his building of his army overseas. We'll give you all those updates as he travels. And again, we'll meet up with Jim when he gives us all the updates here on the site of the Morris Cerullo Legacy International Center. Goodbye, and keep watching all the video and telling all your friends about all this great content on 247 Victory News. Thank you.
Very good. Good to see you.